This is 13 WMAZ Eyewitness News at 5.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Frank Malloy.
And I'm Lori Johnson. Florida officials released the identities of all the victims killed during the school shooting in Parkland, Florida. 14 victims were students, 3 others adults.
Now, as you can imagine, their families and friends heartbroken. Laura Podesto has more.
These are the faces of the 17 people killed on Valentine's Day at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Joaquin Oliver from Venezuela had just become a U.S. citizen last year.
An amazing person, a beautiful soul, nice, kind. Like, obviously no one deserves this.
Freshman Gina Montalto volunteered as a friend for kids with special needs.
She was so bubbly. She was this tiny little girl. I don't even think she would hurt a fly.
15-year-old Peter Wang was killed while holding a door open so others could escape. But he wasn't the only hero that day. Assistant football coach Aaron Feist used his body to shield students. Some say they weren't surprised to hear about his bravery.
He was different than normal faculty. He was our friend. He truly cared.
So the fact that I heard that he used his body to protect others, it's not a surprise to me.
A sign planted outside the school expresses the anger and frustration some in the community are feeling after this shooting. It reads, "Make school safe, no guns for kids."
Someone having the ability to instill that much terror in the people I love hurts.
Funeral services for some of the victims begin today.
Investigators say most victims were killed on the first floor.
They were crouched in corners of classrooms and became easy targets. 7 victims remain hospitalized.
Now, several Central Georgia schools had scares in the last couple of days due to social media threats after that Florida shooting.
One of them was at East Lawrence High School, where school leaders said they were on a soft lockdown today. The school district says someone used a fake Facebook account to post a threat saying a shooting would start at the school around 9:27 this morning. Officers stayed at the school today just to monitor the situation.
Lawrence County Sheriff Larry Dean says they believe the person who posted the threat was a student.
Now we have to have an ongoing investigation. We're tracking down the person that put that information out there. Before this day's out, we hope to have a name of somebody that we can prosecute for putting false information on social media.
Sheriff Dean says they have one person in their department whose sole purpose is to monitor social media accounts for potential crime. Parkland, Florida continues to pick up the pieces after that mayhem on Wednesday, and at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center, officers continue to work tirelessly to ensure the safety of those who call Georgia home.
Through intense hands-on training, officers simulate active shooter scenarios, fire modified guns, and spend hours going through safety drills. Now, these drills are made to mentally, physically, and emotionally prepare officers to handle any type of situation they may encounter.
For a lot of officers, this is the first time they may get shot in training, and allow them to mentally prepare and work through that. Try to make it as realistic as we can so they can experience it, so that when they do have to respond, they're prepared for it.
Now, the training happens about once a month at the GPSTC. Law enforcement agencies from across the state are able to attend.
And Mr. McKinney, who you just heard from, says just about every time those training sessions are full.
13 WMAZ first told you about a week ago about the falling violent crime rate in Warner Robins. And that happened last year. Warner Robins Police Chief Brett Evans said one of the factors leading to the decrease was overtime patrols in the city.
Today, Jacob Reynolds took a closer look at police department overtime and what it's costing. He joins us live.
That's right. In calendar year 2017, the police department recorded more than 10,500 hours of overtime, costing $306,000. And since fiscal year of 2013, the cost is more than $1.2 million. Police Chief Brett Evans says some overtime is just part of the job, telling us that serious crimes and everyday court proceedings are always going to create overtime. Because of that, the department budgets for overtime every year, but in 2014, 15, and 16, the overtime costs went over what was budgeted. The chief says part of the overtime costs have developed because of their continued issues with understaffing.
But what I would like to see is not necessarily as much the overtime cost come down as much as I would like to see the amount of overtime the officers are having to spend to come down. That would be a goal I would see.
Now, Evans did want to make sure that we knew that you can never get overtime to zero in a police department as just part of the job, but he did say a majority of those hours do come at the expense of officers in the crime control and investigation divisions, which he said can take a mental and physical toll. Live in Warner Robins, Jacob Reynolds, 13 WMAZ Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Jacob.
And on Eyewitness News at 6, you hear more from Police Chief Evans and Warner Robins Mayor Randy Toms on the overtime costs.
What a Friday, man. I'm going to tell you what, these numbers have been incredible all day long. Here's a look outside now. Clouds kind of gathering around again. It's not going to be a big deal for that tonight. Now, if you're like many people, the warmer weather and blooming flowers comes along with the crack of the bat. It's opening day for the Mercer Bears baseball team, so we sent Hunter Williams out to the ball game to check in on the weather with the Butler Auto Storm Lab. Hit it, man.
Well, Ben, it's certainly starting to feel like baseball season as Mercer prepares to open up the season against Bethune-Cookman. That game just under an hour away now, and a very warm afternoon by all February standards. But it's not just the warmth, I'll tell you, a very windy afternoon as well. So that could be something that plays a little bit of a role in the game today, seeing wind gusting up to around 20 miles per hour here. But take a look back behind me, the players out on the field. Again, Mercer and Bethune-Cookman, they will get the game going right around 6 o'clock. And if you can't make it out tonight, there is 2 more games for the rest of the weekend, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, then Sunday at 1 o'clock. So plenty of baseball to go around for the weekend. But again, a very warm, breezy afternoon out here. It feels like baseball season. The tailgaters getting all set to go. We have some games of beanbags going on over there, sofas even all set up over there. You can see people pretty much ready to go for the game. But I'll tell you what, we're ready to go as well, so we'll toss it back in the studio and we'll enjoy some of the tailgating festivities out here. Ben Jones, back to you.
Man, I am jealous. I would so love to be out there right now. A warm Friday afternoon with baseball, are you kidding me? That's awesome. We'll show you the weekend and beyond, guys. That's up in just minutes.
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you had a little spring fever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I got that. I got that.
It's not easy being cheesy, my friend.
Glad somebody else can carry the torch when I'm not doing it.
All right, right now there is no public swimming pool in Baldwin County, but one man, well, he's working to change that. Jason Arnold says he loves swimming, has obsessed over building a pool since he was a young person.
Now, as head of the new Baldwin County Aquatics Committee, he wants to help bring that dream to life. Arnold says a public pool will create opportunities for the community, like youth swim teams and water aerobics for the older folks.
The group is working with county commissioners to launch the project. Arnold says commissioners have pledged $2 million of SPLOST money for a pool.
But the public needs this, and they're going to demand perfection, okay? We understand that. As a committee, we understand that. So what we want to do is construct, this facility, this aquatic center, do it as transparently as possible. And I think if we do that, it'll be a jewel not only for the state, but for the Southeast as well.
Arnold says the next step is finding a location for the public pool.
Well, still to come on Eyewitness News at 5.
Jumping and quickness and things like that, the Lord didn't give me any of that. But I was always been blessed with the ability to shoot the basketball.
And Mike Perry has been shooting the basketball for 70 years.
Coming up, we'll learn how this everyday Olympian keeps his love of the sport alive at the age of 75.
Before we go, a look at the video of the day. While athletes compete in South Korea and nearby China, celebrations are underway. That's because today's the beginning of the Chinese Lunar Year.
And some pandas in southwest China decided to celebrate early. The baby pandas rolled around and played with toys that were given to them as gifts. And a few of them even received names. Sounds like a great way to celebrate the start of the Year of the Dog.
You love dogs, Frank.
I do.
We're going to be right back.